In this video, we're going to change this into this. So I'm having this issue right now where I've tilted the camera in my game at about 30 degrees and you're starting to notice the just how flat everything is. NPC ships, everything's flat. So we're gonna fix that. If you don't have Blender, you can install Blender. It is a free to use program. Unity is also a free program, so you can do everything that I am doing for free. So we're gonna start by basically generating a shape that's as close to the final product that we're trying to produce as possible. Now in my brain, everything's basically a square. So we can use that as the base shape for pretty much everything. So what I'm doing here, I've created a loop cut and we are mirroring half of the structure just to kind of make things easier to edit and work with. So you can create loop cuts by pressing Ctrl R and you can drag them around before you finish placing them. So we're going to delete these faces and then we're going to fill them. But we fill them one at a time, just so that we create that extra edge in the middle. Alright, so now that we have that, we can go ahead and create the next loop cut here. Start getting a little bit of angle, some angle action going. So you can slide loop cuts along their edges by double tapping G. You can scale along different axes by pressing the S key, and then S is for scale, and then you select your axis with X, Y, or Z. Now let's shape this butt a little bit. Not quite what I'm looking for. Okay, there we go. Scale it down. We'll scale down the front too. So you can hold left shift to select multiple edges. That'll make your editing process a little bit easier in Blender. Alright, so now we're going to create the glass. I'm using a plane here, but we'll upgrade this to a full cube later. And you'll see the reason why. This plane is the glass for the ship. Alright, that kind of messed up my rotations here. Make sure you apply all your rotations and transforms in Blender before you switch things over to Unity. You can do that by pressing, I believe, Ctrl A when you're in Blender. Alright, this material, transparent material, works. There is some shading issues with sprite render and transparent materials that we will resolve later here in a second. Okay, now to test. They're so pretty, look at them go. Oh, we're on the wrong side. Yeah, so my player character has rendered on the wrong side of the glass. And we're trying to remedy that by making the glass 3D, and that will, well, in my brain, would allow the player characters to sit inside of the glass since the player is under the glass, but in Unity that is not how things work. So what you're going to have to do and how I solve this, if you're using sprite renders and 3D objects, the default layer is where your transparent materials, where all 3D materials are rendered. So if you're using custom sorting layers like I am, then you need to make sure that things that you want to render underneath transparency needs to be in a layer that's below the default layer. And just like that, we are under our glass. Alright, so now we're going to begin UV editing. This is the next stage of our 3D creation process. So the goal here is to mark your edges and your seams. Mark your seams and your sharps, I should say, so that your 3D object will lay flat, like when you cut an orange peel open. You mark sharps for really sharp edges if you're baking a normal map. So if you're going to bake a normal map later, you will need to mark all of your sharps as well. That way you don't get artifacts in your final render when you're creating normal maps. Be sure to clean up your mesh, remove any doubles, merge distant vertices, and delete all loose geometry. I missed a seam there. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, so now we're going to unwrap, but as you can see, we're only getting half of the ship. So the next thing you need to do, since we were using the mirror modifier, you're going to go ahead and apply your mirror modifier. Yeah, none of those buttons actually do anything. So just go ahead and apply your modifier while you're in object mode. Okay, select all of your faces, all of your geometry, and re-unwrap. For some reason the unwrap key isn't working, so I had to do Smart UV Project. You might need to do that too. When you're painting, especially if you're using low resolution painting, you're going to want to manually drag and space out your UV islands so that they so that the paint won't spread to the other geometry. A quick Google search just to figure out how to bind materials. When you create a texture, make sure you save the texture, like actually save it, and there's a little image tab. You'll see it's still not there. Alright. To the left, no, the other drop down. Yeah, this drop down. Actually save your image texture, and then you'll be able to select it in Blender and tie it to your material in Blender. So here we created a material for our fighter in the game, so we can bind our actual texture to this material. So pretty much every ship, if it's going to be 3D, is going to need at least one material and one texture to go with it. When you want more skins, you want to create skins, you're going to need more textures, more materials. So things can get a little pricey in the RAM department when you start doing that. Alright, so now I'm trying to figure out, oh, yep, wrong side. Trying to figure out how to paint faces. I just want to paint the entire face. Nope, that ain't it. I think we have to radio in some help. Go to Dr. Google to figure this one out. Okay, So we select the faces, press the mask button when we're in the texture paint mode. Okay, I see it outlined over there on the UV screen, but it's still not doing it. What the hell did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, I guess it's because I painted outside of the mask. Okay, we'll save this texture and scale it up because those lines are looking kind of bad. Repaint. We'll smooth out those lines. You pretty much want to use as small of texture as is reasonably possible. Now, I can definitely get this using a 256 texture. I could probably do it using a 64 texture. So I might redo this texture on my own time later, but for now, this works. This gets the job done. Alright, make sure our texture's applied, and where is our red? Oh, it's on the bottom. Okay. Make a little pink. There's our texture. And we can customize the color using the materials. Maybe allow players to paint the ship later using a property. I think that's good. I think that's it. Now to test. Look at them go. They're all painted. And just like that, we've gone from 2D to 3D. Now mind you, this took me an entire day to do, so don't expect to be done in 15 minutes. Now it's time to die horribly. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video.